What up, nation? We are live with another esports stream with the boy, the esports kid around here, the governor. Gov, what's up, man? How'd you do yesterday? I know we were on a lot of the same stuff, so I think our days were pretty similar, but how'd yesterday go for you?
Yeah, yesterday was kind of a rough one. Like, I was all over EG, all over, like, I had some TL, both of them lost, so excited to get after it. It's kind of like making me think about slates differently now, so hopefully it'll help us in the long run, but it was definitely rough yesterday.
Yeah, I said I had combinations of EG, C9, and TSM in every single one of my lineups. EG lost. Didn't like get murdered value, but that kind of hurt. It was a pretty ugly slate for me overall. I think they played better when fucking you see Soraka top on the other side, like, you're losing that game. So
Right, yeah.
that wasn't fun. But the good thing is there's always today. Nice bounce back slate. Actually a decent one. We have a lot of bad teams playing. We have the good teams playing too, like TSM's big favorite, T9's big favorite. A couple games, game can shoot out between like FlyQuest and EG, and then like 100 Thieves and Immortals, both teams that suck. We're gonna jump right into this though. I'm really curious to hear what you're gonna say because it's, like I said, it's an interesting slate. It's not like plug and play C9 today. Like it's kind of been to the past because as we get later and later into the season, pricing gets a lot more strict, so you makes it to think a little bit more. We're to start in the top lane. What do you like here?
Yeah, so top lane, starting up top, I think Broken Blade's in a pretty good spot here. I think that TSM just wins against UGS in general, so it's going to be a pretty big theme that I'm going to like TSM today. I think I'm going to skip over Licorice. Huni is kind of like up and down player in the top lane for Dignitas, so I think that I'd rather either pay all the way up for Broken Blade or go down to like Someday or Viper. I think that so Viper's going against EG and Kumo. Kumo, like, I don't know.
Who do you have winning the game? Like, do you think EG or Fly win that?
I think FlyQuest wins the game.
Yeah, me too.
So like, Viper is probably like one of my favorite plays, if not my favorite play today. I think that he just absolutely demolishes Kumo. I think that if you wanted to play Viper Captain, it's pretty viable. And then I would try to, if I was going to go Viper Captain, I would go Someday top, and then I would just try to fit all of whatever your favorite stack is between TSM or C9, because you can pretty much do that pretty easily after that.
Yeah, I loved it too. Much of the yesterday, like top lane's usually pretty ugly, but at least we got like FlyQuest as favorites and 100 Thieves as bigger favorites. Like Viper and Someday both pretty good and both cheap too. So you play them together, like one captain, one top, and then you get really whoever the hell else you want in the rest of your lineup, so that's kind of nice.
Right. Yeah, and Viper has like 40-point upside, so he definitely is pretty valuable in the captain, I think. Like week one, I played him in the captain spot. He went for 41, so he has pretty good upside there. He's definitely going to be drafted on like a carry or a split pusher because he's like one of FlyQuest's main win conditions, so you don't really have to worry about him being on a tank. But yeah, I would say that Viper and Someday would be my top two plays, and then if you wanted to play Broken Blade, you could play him, but 7K is pretty steep for a top laner. You're gonna have to find some value elsewhere where there isn't really much value.
Yeah, and Viper of course too. Like when they lose, obviously his value is destroyed, but like their win condition is usually around him. Like the games he won, like we're looking at like 37 DKP, 41 DKP, and like 20. Like he's a shit ton of upside as a favorite today, and he's cheap, so I love Viper a lot too.
Yeah.
Anything else in top before we move it to jungle?
Yeah. So I guess yesterday we saw like the first effective Soraka top game. As we saw with Rune playing it really doesn't matter who's playing it because they're going to get a shitload of points. Like he had like 19 assists, but like I really don't think he's good at all. So we had something to keep in mind. You can't really predict the draft in terms of what teams are going to pick, but if you're on Soraka top, you're in for some points, I would say. But yeah, it's kind of tough. Like that was a pretty unique situation where they had a Philios in Soraka, so it was like impossible for Stixay to die because Rune was just healing him constantly. So I don't know if that was more of a process thing. I don't think that we were wrong picking EG over CLG. I think it was just kind of like the luck of the draw in the draft.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I'm not like so angry about it, but sucks that we lost a little bit of money on that yesterday.
Right, yeah.
Now, before we even jump into the jungle, I want to ask you, between like all of the underdogs today, looking at Immortals, Golden Guardians, Dignitas, and EG, do you think any of them like win? Obviously, like yesterday, like we said, we saw a couple of big upsets there with EG, not EG, with Dig and with who was it? The 800?
It was CLG beat EG.
There we go. Yeah. So do you think any of these teams, like, do you think Dig has any potential upside to beat C9? I'm obviously gonna say no. Immortals, yeah. Golden Guardians, any of them?
I've been hearing some about Immortals. I really don't trust it, but I don't know. I mean, 100 Thieves isn't really amazing either. That's why I'm only kind of keeping my exposure to them with someday. I don't think that GGS can beat TSM. I think that at some point C9's going to lose. I think that you'll lose more money than you'll gain if you just keep playing whoever C9's playing. But I don't. They're not going to go undefeated. I just don't think this is the spot to go after them. I think that they're just playing way too well right now, and I don't know. I think that even if they get behind early, they can still come back, and it might even be better if they get behind early because they're going to be forced to fight. So I think that, I guess by default, I would say EG, but I really don't. I really think that FlyQuest can win this game because I really don't think that EG looked too good yesterday. I don't know. Their team is so good on paper, but I just don't know why they're struggling so much. I mean, I guess they kind of got outclassed yesterday by CLG, but like I thought I had way higher hopes for EG coming into the season.
Before we jump into jungle, I just want to say, if you're here, if you're watching us, please do us a favor, give us a like in the video. It really goes a long way with helping pushing out content and get our exposure. So if you're here, do us a favor, throw us that like. With that, we're going to jump right into jungle. Start us off at top.
Yeah, so obviously I think you got to start off with Blabber. He's pretty solid. Obviously C9's a pretty big favorite, so could be in for a big game here. I don't know if necessarily can afford him, but if you can, by all means, I would try to fit him in. The next person I would just go down to would be Santorin. I think that it's a pretty good two-man stack of Santorin and Viper. That's kind of where I'm sitting right now in my jungle top spots. So I think that if you're not going to stack either C9 or TSM, I would just play Santorin.
Yeah, I love Santorin too. He's cheap, again, I like Fly. Like, what's your favorites today? They're all super cheap. And again, like Santorin too, same thing with Viper. Like when they win, they are both heavily involved in their team. Like they both have I think a 30 plus, like one of their wins has been like, look at Santorin's wins, 39, 40, 38. And again, as a favorite today against CG, I think he's a huge amount of upside for Chiefs. So I like something we'll hit on after like the position by position, but I like stacking up Fly. So you can go like Viper, Santorin, at top side of the map there. So you usually play off top a lot. What else are you looking at? I know you didn't mention Dardoch. Any interest in him? Like he's been hyped up a lot of talk because of like his toxicity. Come back into the season here now. Hasn't really played great. Kind of saw a little bit of a wild pick yesterday he played the set, right?
Played set jungle, yeah.
Yeah, they tried to throw him off by making him think they were playing set top so they could get countered. They picked the Kennen, picked Irelia into the Kennen, and then Dardoch ended up playing on set. Played like all right. Didn't really have the greatest game. It was it's tough for a set, of course, but the thing with set and champs like that, once they get rolling, they have a ton of upside. So something to keep in mind when they're bigger favorites today against Golden Guardians, who hasn't really looked great. Anything else like from the bottom, like Greg, Closer, like, any of them you like?
No, not really. I think that, you could always take a chance on Sensgaren because if you think EG is going to stack, if you're going to stack EG against FlyQuest, I think that's pretty viable. I guess if you wanted to play someday Medio stack, I guess I wouldn't be mad at that, but I think I'm going to stick to Blabber and Santorin, and maybe I'll throw in a Dardoch stack. I'm not really sure with TSM.
Take us over to mid lane. We got some big names here. Bjerg, of course. Niski, Power View, we should as well. Same thing when Flight as well.
Yeah.
Even like a cheaper Jizuke down low. What are you thinking for the mid lane here?
Yeah, so kind of the common theme. I'm going to stick up, if I can, up here in the top with TSM, C9 FlyQuest. I think that this is the spot you can kind of pay up because it's not too expensive. Like, if you look over at ADC, you have a couple people that are pretty high priced, like Kabe's 8-4, but like I think Power Evil's in a pretty good spot here against Shizuke, 7-8, and I think I heard a stat yesterday, he's like leading the league in damage per minute, so he's definitely around the kills and he's getting a lot of kills. Well, obviously not yesterday against C9, but like the game before that he had 9, and I mean he's playing pretty well to start the season, so I think I'm going to try to fit him in if I can. I wouldn't mind getting him in the captain spot if you can swing that. That'd be pretty cool. Obviously Niski, if you can fit in the C9 stack, he's definitely one of the main parts of that stack. He's pretty fair price, I would say. I mean, 8K is not too bad. The only thing is he's kind of been playing like more utility champions, hasn't really been playing carries. They're kind of like letting Sven carry the game, so that's something to look out for. Like he played Kiana yesterday, who I guess is technically an assassin, but he really didn't get a lot of kills, and he was kind of more there for like the utility of his ultimate, and Sven kind of cleaned up all the kills. So Bjergsen kind of moving on. Our TSM's on a 3-game win streak, so they're getting some momentum moving here into the middle stages of the season. He's had some pretty good games here. He went 6-1-3 yesterday on Syndra. So pretty good spot for him, I think, if you can fit him. I think that you're going to have to if you're going to stack TSM, you're going to have to make a decision between Bjergsen and Kabe, because both of those are pretty expensive. And then if you want to even fit in Broken Blade, you're going to have to make more decisions on your lineup. So it's going to be pretty hard to stack TSM. You're going to have to be pretty creative with the rest of your lineup. But I think that they're a pretty viable stack. I think that GG can stay in this game enough where there's going to be a lot more fighting than there should be probably. But yeah, I think I would stick to the top 3 in the mid lane. And again, if you're going to stack EG, then you could play Jizuke.
Yeah, I like that too. Jizuke always has upside, and he's cheap again today. But that's interesting too, because like like you said, I would only really stack EG because like I think the game shoots out. It's one of the tighter spreads, and like, they have big upside because they're super cheap if the game does shoot out. So he's interesting too. Move over to ADC. Again, ADC support kind of always grouped up. It's the bot lane. Correlate a lot together. What are you doing with bot lanes, ADC? I know you want to play Kabe or Bjerg, but they're both pretty expensive. So are you playing Kabe? You could sacrifice and go down low and try to play Bjerg instead?
Yeah, so I like a lot more mid laners than I do ADCs. So I think that if I had the choice between Kabe and Bjerg, I would go Kabe. But I think that, again, Kabe's Sven would be where I'm looking at ADC if I can fit it. I think I'm going to try to get my value from the top side of the map so I can spend up on mid laner, ADC, and support.
Yeah.
So Kabe's Sven, I think, are pretty solid. Wild Turtle kind of had a better season than I thought he was going to have. In their wins, he gets his lowest in any win is 30, almost 31. So he definitely has the upside to go for 50 plus. So if you think that game shoots out and you have a FlyQuest stack, then that's something to look into. But I think I would kind of stick with those 3. I think that maybe if you're running the someday media stack I was talking about earlier, that you could throw in a Cody Sun, because I just don't think IMT is very good. But I think I would stick on the same 3 teams that we've been kind of talking about the whole time.
Yeah. Again, I think it's going to be super chalky. It's hard not to be today.
Right.
Maybe the volatility that we saw on yesterday's slate scared people off the bigger favorites, but like TSM, C9, FlyQuest for me, that's really where I'm trying to get heavy there. I'm trying to So you're gonna go. You said with your cheaper top lanes like Someday Viper, some cheaper jungles like Santorin,
Yeah.
and your main thing you want to try to pay up for like Svenikabe, and then like Biofrost and Vulcan.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna try to spend up top lane, and then in jungle, or spend down top lane jungle, and then try to spend up in the carry roles mid and ADC, and then I might try to like sneak in Ignar with Viper and Santorin, and then so I can try to see if I can sneak in a better captain. I'm not sure if that's gonna matter because he's only 200 less than Vulcan, but I'm kind of playing around with it right now and see how it works out.
We'll move into the team category. I think it's something to not really talk about as an individual position, but teams here. What do you think? Like, we've seen TSM is actually the most expensive team, all not being the bigger favorite, but of course we've seen every game they kind of been dragging out to these longer games, been cutting it down a little bit the last couple games, but they've seemed to extend games a lot, play objectives, and not really go for the high kill potentials.
Mm-hmm.
And then, are you looking at any of the cheap teams? Like we saw 100 Thieves yesterday, came for like 30, like DKP, who were super cheap, and like they were a big key to like if you wanted to try to pick the slate. So you're trying to dumpster dive for like a cheap team, like if it shoots out between like even like EG Immortals, like for cheap and try to save some salary there. What are you doing?
Yeah, so I guess the only team I'm interested in at the pretty low spot would be, well, I guess I have two. I think Immortals can kind of make a little noise. I think that Smithy, being the veteran in the jungle, he's gonna know like what objectives to play for and what objectives they can play for at a certain period of the game. But I'm not sure that I would one off Immortals team. But like they have the upside. Like they played that 60-minute game against TSM and they scored 34, and they beat GGS last Sunday and they scored 22. So they have a bit of upside there. I think that they definitely shown they can control objectives because of Smithy's strong like shot calling. And then, like you said, if you wanted to try to take advantage of TSM's long games, GGS, there's always going to be more points on the map in terms of dragons and barons the longer the game goes. So if you think that they can get like an early lead or something, then they might be able to take a couple dragons early. And at 3-8, that's decent bargain there. I'm not sure that's for me, but I mean they scored 25 against EG. So I usually, like we've been saying, I usually try to get teams from the teams I'm stacking or teams I think are going to win. But I think that if you really want to, I think that Immortals or GGS you could play in a team slot.
Yeah, I'm on board with you too. I think it's really only worth picking teams from the winning teams, of course. And like even at the position, like if I'm gonna try to go a little bit on the other side and pick from losing teams to be more contrarian, I don't think the team's allowed to do it. Like you can, if I want to get contrarian, I'll stack like EG or I'll stack like Immortals on like their carrier roles instead of actually the team position.
Right.
So again, if you're watching, do us a huge favor, throw us the like. It goes a long way for us. We really appreciate that. Before we go to like top threes and everything too, I want to talk a little bit about stacking and general slate thoughts. What teams like are specific teams you're trying to pick apart? You mentioned a little bit from like the top side of the map, bottom lanes. You're stacking anyone specific where you're like, I want to go this jungle mid, this jungle top, this bot lane duo. Give us some stacking options here.
Yeah, so I really like the Viper Santorin Power Vivo 3-man stack. I think that's going to be, not sure it's going to be popular today, but I think that's one I'm liking early here. I think that obviously Sven Vulcan, if you can fit it, I think that's a pretty good stack there. I think that, I mean, obviously Bjergsen, Kabe, Biofrost, if you can fit that, that's like 40K, but no, it's not 40K, but it's pretty expensive. So you could try to figure something out there. I think that if you wanted to go like Svenskar and Bang Zazel, if you wanted to stack EG, that'd be pretty decent there. And then any combination of like Viper Santorin Power Vivo, even like Santorin Power Vivo Ignar, I think that's a pretty safe stack there. And then that 100 Thief stack I was talking about with someday Medios, Cody's son, or someday Medios Ryoma if you really wanted to. I'm not a huge fan of Ryoma today, but he could do pretty decent against Immortals. And then obviously just core leading the team spot with those stacks. Yeah.
The other thing too, my captain, I'm always looking to pick from positions I think are kind of heavier. Like I don't really like.
Right.
I don't love top today. I like paying cheap for like Viper and someday, but I'm not all in on like Broken Blade Licorice, or like, you know me and Kumo, but I'm not going back to that fucking route today. So my captain spot's usually taken out from a position where I want to play two players, where I think it's like a heavy position, and I think it's pretty attractive, and there's a lot of kill potential from that spot. What positions do you think are the stronger spots today that you will want to go like double in that spot and put him at your captain?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I think that it's going to be extremely hard to fit two of either of these, but mid and ADC would be the optimal plays in the captain. You're going to have to really get contrarian with the rest of your lineup to fit those two positions in. But I actually do kind of like putting Viper as my captain today and then just sliding in someday. I think that top lane, that's where you can get the most value out of that spot. So you can kind of fit whatever you want in the rest of your lineup once you pick those two guys. I don't actually mind like Vulcan or like Ignar in the captain spot. I think that they have some upside there, especially if they can get 10 assists. They can do some damage there. Like Ignar scored like 27 in their win versus Dignitas and 33 in their win versus CLG. So like he has a little bit of upside there. He's definitely surprised me. I didn't think he was going to be this good coming into the league, but he's definitely played pretty well.
Yeah, he does went on fire too. He's still pretty cheap. Like you said, look at his wins. Like supports don't get these numbers. Like 27, 33, 21 in wins. Like projected as a favorite. Like I said a million times today too.
Yeah.
I get like they got the shit kicked out of him. C9 got a negative score, but when we're looking at his wins, he's projected as a heavy favorite today. Like and he's scoring points that no other sports really score. So it's just tough for me because like we're both saying like everyone from FlyQuest is really attractive today. So like I don't know. Like would you play him without the ADC? Like I know I want to play like Viper, Santorin, like Power Evil a lot too. Like would you play him without Wild Turtle so you can play like maybe like Sven or Kabe there?
Yeah, so I think that FlyQuest is kind of a special case where like they don't really try to lane for that long, that they try to get people moving around the map, and they're like the 3v3 like fighting is like their style kind of thing. So I think that it's very viable to do Ignar without Wild Turtle. Like if you think that, because like Wild Turtle's played Senna like the past 4 games, which is kind of takes a while to scale. So he's probably not going to be getting that many kills in the early game. And Ignar has been playing these like roaming supports. Like he's really good on Leona. He's played Blitzcrank like week 1. So like I think that he has a lot of upside even with Wild Turtle not being on your team. If you're going to play Ignar, I think that's fine.
All right, we're going to close it out with your favorite top. Go do top 3s for each position here.
Okay.
Start us off with top lane.
Yeah, so top lane, I'd go Viper, someday Broken Blade.
Viper, someday Broken Blade. Jungle.
Santorin, Blabber, and then it's close between Sunscarin and Dardoch, but whichever one, I guess.
You like Medios at
all? If I was going to play someday, but I think there are better spots.
Mid. I think this one's kind of easy.
Yeah, just the top 3. Power Revo, Niski, Bjergsen. And ADC, I'd probably go Sven, Kabe, and then Bang if you wanted to stack that FlyQuest side. Support, I'm going to go Vulcan number 1, Ignar number 2, and Biofrost number 3.
No love for Keith. The disrespect.
Yeah, if you
3 negatives in a row,
yeah.
a negative number in a win. So
yeah, if you want to play Keith, like, I'll just give you my PayPal so you can just pay me. But yeah, I don't know. He's so bad. I can't believe they haven't subbed him out yet. Like, he's leading the league in deaths by like 10, and he's a roll swap from ADC, and he doesn't have like any upside at all, 0. So like, I don't get why he hasn't been subbed out yet. I don't
scored
know
like 6 fantasy points total in 4 wins.
Yeah, like,
and that's 3 of those games he's negatives. Fucking against EG in their win, he still scored negative.
Yeah,
they're gonna make him free soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I have
and
no
then
idea.
for teams,
yeah, teams, Cloud9, FlyQuest, and then I'm kind of warming up on 100 Thieves, but I'm not really playing that many 100 Thieves. Spoiler alert. So I think that's pretty viable though if you want to go there.
I like 100 Thieves too. Like we said, like teams that draw at games are always attractive from the team spot, and like they also play really long games. Like they've scored 30 and 27 in their last 2 wins. They're cheaper than TSM and like plays kind of similar style. So both another big favorite too. So I like 100 Thieves as a team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna do it. Again, if you're here, you're watching, throw us that like. Gov, anything else to close this out before we get out of here?
No, I think that yesterday was a little bit discouraging, but we just got to keep at it. I think that our process was completely correct in my opinion, but it was just like any sport where the underdog just had their day. And I think that if anything, it's going to help us in the future, like thinking about possible matchups, and then it might even help us with ownership today. Like since a couple underdogs won today, maybe they get some ownership off of like C9 and TSM where we want to target. So I think that it's going to be a good learning experience for us moving forward, and I'm glad that
I ain't learned shit. I'm never fucking playing. I think EG got fucked in draft.
Yeah.
Like that. I think it was just a lot of variance, but like I don't know. Obviously, esports is a lot of variance because the draft is after lock. But
oh yeah,
it's so hard to like. How can I don't know if I can change the process on like just hoping the draft goes wrong for a team. Like crazy. Like
yeah.
Oh god,
it's definitely tough. I think we were on the right spots though, is what I'm trying to say. Like
Me too.
Like I don't know. It's really tough because it's like it's totally reliant on the draft, which is after lock. So like it's so hard to play, like to say who you like without seeing who they're going to play in the game. If that makes any sense. Like I don't know.
Do you think Rock gets banned every game now?
I don't think it gets banned every game, but I think that there's certain teams I would ban it against.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, GGS played it last Sunday and they lost, so I don't know. We'll see.
Well, that's gonna do it. Good luck, everyone. Again, last time I'll say it, throw us that like. I hope to see some hours up top. To everyone else, good luck to you too. Yeah, that's gonna close us out. Good luck.
Peace.
Yeah.